Test, 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 test. Da 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 test. Is the audio coming through? Loading, test. All right, good, wonderful. So here we are back in Pesterquest. New chapters come out. I think a new chapter came out last week, so I'm kind of, or was it? Yeah, I'm getting really mixed up on the schedule here. Hold on, I think I have it recorded. I need to know who is wrong here. Oh, yeah, it has been 2 weeks since the last one. Oh, wow. Well, crap. Okay. So, anyway, here is Pesterquest. Here we've got Jake English. So, I think I completely forgot to look at the warnings for Jane's. So, let's see if those are any good. They'll call it mind control. Okay, good enough. Stato. Jake English. Adventure time. Alright, yeah, I think this one should be probably okay with the auto voicer. I don't think he has a real troublesome typing quirk. So anyway, let's get into it.
Self-voicing enabled. All you wanted to do was make a new friend, and now you're running like hell from a giant white creature with 2 heads, each sporting a single garish eye. Kind of like a cyclops, except with 2 of the one-eyed faces, so you guess it's a duocyclops.
Biclops, maybe?
Whatever it is, it's angry as hell and chasing you through a tangled jungle. You leap over a stand of ferns and duck under one of those big woody vines jungles always have. After befriending Jane, you asked her for the names of some of her friends. Not too many details. You made that mistake with Solux. Just a little tantalizing friendship amuse-bouche to get you started.
Amuse-bouche. I figure that must be some other way of pronouncing that, but I'm just not sure.
Specifically, you were interested in the friend that needed her help daily. Now that sounded like some fertile ground for a relationship. You kind of regret bringing it up though, because Jane got very flustered telling you about Jake. It's clear that her friendship with this guy is a topic of some emotional turmoil. Well, who better to help sort it out than you, everyone's friend? But instead of friendship, you've been greeted by a number of ferocious white monsters. Your garbled brain offers up that you probably pissed off this kid's Lucis. Except this is Earth? Between different planets, different universes, and the mess of timelines in your memory, you're having a hard time figuring out. You trip over a big tree root and land smack on your face in the dirt. You choke on decaying plant matter, clawing at your throat, and roll over onto your back just in time to see the duocyclops about to bring down one huge foot right on your vulnerable body. Are you allowed to start over if you haven't even made a branching choice yet? You cover your eyes.
I think you probably are.
Nothing happens. After a moment of Olympic-level breath-catching, you venture a peek. The duocyclops is in pieces on the ground. 2 pieces. You hope the thematic resonance offered it some comfort during such a brutal end. You scramble to your feet. Your future new friend Jake must have intervened to save you. You look around for him, but there's another swoosh noise and a glint of metal, and something inhuman appears in front of the duocyclops' body. It's a robot. Kind of a cartoony one, with shiny metal joints and big red anime sunglasses. It even has a perfectly gelled metal hairstyle. Honestly, it looks pretty goofy. But it's also holding a katana and staring right at you. You think you saw something similar broken all over the floor of Equatus room. It must be a battle robot, and you don't have the strength of your punchiest friend.
Okay.
Save.
Challenge
the robot. With a yell, you charge forward, waving your arms intimidatingly. Yeah, it's a robot. It's not scared. The robot implacably waits for your approach, then strikes out in one swift motion, too fast to see. You crumple to the ground, your world exploding in pain. You huddle into a ball, waiting for the robot to finish you off. But it's not interested. It zooms away, leaving you to your agonies. In the bursts of lucidity available to you, you discern that it has kicked you in the chest, breaking several of your ribs. No problem. That's totally a survivable injury. You'll be fine, and ready to get your friendship Katamari rolling again in no time.
It actually managed to pronounce Katamari pretty well.
You're just gonna lie here for a bit first. Just to gather your strength. Just gonna lie here, too injured to run, surrounded by ferocious beasts, and leaking delicious, aromatic blood. Just for a minute or two.
Alright, that was a short one. I thought the Dirk bot would have just straight up decapitated him or something, but...
Image. Option. Look.
There we go.
Do not
challenge the robot.
You default to your old standby, cowering. You shrink back, hands raised in the universal symbol for woe now. Shit, no horse pun intended. For some reason the thought of Equus and the presence of this robot are making your brain go right to horses. Suddenly, a shot rings out behind you. It sounds so stupid that you almost don't believe it, but it's true. Who is shooting a gun at a robot? The robot makes a little VRRR startup noise and raises its katana into a ready stance. A blur of green and khaki charges out of the jungle and tackles the robot full in the stomach.
Cocky.
It doesn't fall to the ground. Instead, it puts the kid, a human, you can now see, so probably this Jake guy, into a headlock. He struggles, lashing at it with his elbows and kicking at its ankles. The robot proceeds to beat the kid up. There's no reason to describe it in detail. It's unpleasant to watch and makes you feel really bad. You didn't even know there could be a polar opposite of Equus, but this kid is it. The robot is super effective against him. You have to stop it, but there's too much action for you to get close. Even if you could reach Jake, there's no way you could zap him out of here without bringing the battlebot with you. Except, things have been weird lately. The accepted rules of your power no longer seem so inviolable. Maybe you can just do it? You close your eyes and think really hard about bringing Jake with you. When you open your eyes, a young man stands in his bedroom. Wait, is it Jake's birthday? No. What? You shake your head in consternation. Anyway, you manage to bring Jake, and only Jake, into the house. He stands there clutching his side and panting, recovering from the robo beatdown. The guy's bedroom is so covered in movie posters, it's hard to even see the shape of the walls. The floor is littered with weaponry. A lot of the kids you've met live like this, basically lounging around in piles of detritus pertaining to their character-defining interests. Anyway, it's clear to anyone who sees this room that he absolutely fucking loves movies and guns. You don't need to waste any time on exposition there. Golgotha Starer, G Zoom Zoom. You alright over there, my chromatically challenged chappie? You're fine. Jake is the one who seems hurt. That robot really did a number on him. Golgotha Starer, Ilse. Confounded thing practically never doesn't do a number on me. It does so many numbers it's one short of a standing ovation down on Broadway Ave.
Broadway Avenue. The way it says Golgotha's Terror is pretty weird.
Golgotha Starer, I'm just glad I could be there to help. You know life is always just a smidgen easier with a brother's helping hand firmly placed on your behind.
It's almost like it's saying Golgotha's Terrier.
Golgotha Starer, with a friend behind you is what I mean to say. Oh, sure. Jake doesn't really seem fazed by any of this. Not the alien monsters on his island, not your presence, and not his ungainly defeat at the hands of the anime robot. Not even by you teleporting him around. Golgotha Starer, well sure, my good buddy Jane told me you might drop by. Golgotha Starer, and honestly I been chomping at the proverbial bit to meet you ol feller me lad. Golgotha Starer, I'm sure Janie showed you a good time as she is a stand-up host and a top-notch friendo. An absolute wonder wench and no doubt about it.
Didn't capitalize the J there. Sure what's going on there?
Golgotha Starer, but gosh I've just been so gung-ho to show a brand new personage around the old digs. Golgotha Starer, get it? I live in a ruined temple so it's literally digs.
Might get along well with Aradia. I don't think he ever met Aradia in the comic, but I'm not sure.
Golgotha Starer nudges you with a meaningful elbow and gives you a hearty raising of the brows. Did he just say that out loud? He did. Well, here you are. Ready to be shown around the ruined temple. Where to first? Golgotha Starer, oh haha, let's not actually go there. Golgotha Starer, you know I'm no stranger to danger, but there's nothing like a man's familiar four walls to give him a feeling of peace and quietude. Golgotha Starer, we'd better hide out for a bit. Just a tactical withdrawal whilst my Robbo buddy and the usual monster menagerie are out and about. Right, the monsters. You can't help but notice that this is the same island where Jade lived. But instead of one big white creature custodian, like Beck, Jake has lots. Trying to be culturally sensitive, you tell him it must have been nice to have such a big family. Jake looks perplexed. Golgotha Starer, I reckon it must be nice. I can't say I've ever had one though. Golgotha Starer, if family's what you're looking for, you couldn't picked a worse place to mount your search. Golgotha Starer, there's about as much familial spirit in my locale as cows in a cornfield. Golgotha Starer, which is to say there's simply none to be seen. Oh, shit. You misinterpreted things. So Jake really just lives here alone? That must be hard. Golgotha Starer, he'll say. As another of my friends could tell you, there's nothing worse than being a teen stranded alone in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Golgotha Starer, my grandma used to live here with me, but she died long ago. You think of your friend John, or rather his corpse, standing ceremonially in Jane's living room. Same house, similar kids. Same island, mysteriously dead grandma. It's not hard to put two and two together and come up with your dead friend Jade. It's a gut punch, even though the inexorable passage of time means that, of course, you could zap to the future and visit time periods where all your friends are dead, if you wanted.
That's deep, man.
You guess that's kind of what you did to your old friends by skipping forward so many years on Alternia. Haha, wow. You're kind of starting to hyperventilate about this. You focus hard on Jake, trying to pull yourself together. Luckily, he doesn't seem to have noticed anything is wrong with you. Jake seems like the kind of person who doesn't have room in his head to talk and notice other people at the same time. Golgotha Starer, but I try not to complain. After all, things could be worse. I have all the cans a boy could ever want to cook Alize. I get to romp in the pumpkin patch to my heart's delight. Golgotha Starer, plus this island is the perfect setting for one of the coolest things in the world. Golgotha Starer, that's right, adventure. Golgotha Starer, the thrill of discovery. The frenzy of battle. Golgotha Starer, it's the most fulfilling diversion of them all. Golgotha Starer, why no boy of a sound disposition could feel sad about his perpetual isolation and the deadness attribute of his family members when the whole dark and teeming jungle is available for his dauntless exploration. Is that really what he thinks? You can't help but remember about 30 seconds ago when Jake said he didn't want to go out to the ruins. You're no problem, sleuth, but Jake's room looks pretty lived in. Not to mention the quantity of movie consumption suggested by his decor. You're about to respond when there's a horrendous clatter from down below. Jake freezes, a small animal caught in headlights. You suspect the headlights are of the red anime glasses variety. Golgotha Starer, oh fuck buttons. The metal maverick makes his return. Golgotha Starer, listen, you look like a rum customer with primo getaway sticks. Fleeing is probably our best option here. You don't get it? The last guy you knew who made a habit of consorting with battle bots always bested them handily. Why would Jake make something he couldn't beat? Golgotha Starer, whoa. Jumpin' Jehoshaphat, I'm touched by your high opinion of my robotics, no wow.
Jehoshaphat. Not sure if that's the correct spelling there, but whatever. It's not like it really matters.
Golgotha Starer, no, I didn't make the brobot. My best buddy did. Golgotha Starer, he's a genuine whiz with tech of all kinds. And a real thoughtful guy, even though sometimes I wish he would apply some of that big brain box to helping me out just a touch more. Golgotha Starer, he couldn't be here himself because of the physical limitations of time and space, so he sent the robot to train me. Golgotha Starer, it's really nice if you think about it. I mean, at first I thought it was somewhat overbearing and unnecessary, but after Dirk explained it to me I got that it was his way of being nice. This best friend sounds... Golgotha Starer, not everyone is as lucky as me to have 3 stalwart compadres to brighten their day when they live alone on a murder island. Golgotha Starer, when you think about it, I'm just about the luckiest gent who ever was stranded in the Pacific with a passel of ferocious monsters and a killer robot. You, guess someone could say that? If that someone was Jake. Another harsh sound from below reminds you of the urgency of the situation. You could easily teleport the two of you out of here, but, well, the creepy biotech chittering noise of drones still echoes in your memories. You've had some bad experiences trying to escape a killer robot with its eyes set on a friend.
Just noticed this, you got some National Treasure and Ghost Rider. There's some Nicolas Cage movies. Nicolas Cage is pretty relevant to the Homestuck universe, but they haven't really gotten too far into it here. Probably due to copyright reasons, but who knows.
Escape via teleportation seems like a temporary solution at best. Sooner or later, Jake's probably going to have to face the robot. Is there some way the two of you, acting together, can take it down? Golgotha Starer, you don't understand. It learns from your actions. Golgotha Starer, anytime I've even started to get the jump on that dadband chrome ass sucker, it's just turned around and given itself a thorough school feeding on the topic of kicking my sweet bippy. Golgotha Starer, if we fight it together it'll just learn how to fight two people. And then when you leave me all by my lonesome, it'll be up shit creek with nary a paddle to be found. Golgotha Starer, it's like that robot in The Incredibles. Golgotha Starer, except instead of being an absolutely fantastic work of cinematic art, it's my real life. Ji Jum Kri Zoom. Jake's friend is among the worst gift givers you've ever seen. Golgotha Starer, there's just one thing we can do if a hasty retreat isn't what tickles your biscuit. Golgotha Starer, if we could find a way to turn on novice mode it'll be easier to deal with. I usually don't do it, but I'd hate to subject a guest to the violent vicissitudes of a robotic rascal. Golgotha Starer, I just can't remember how it's done. Oh, okay. So at least this friend included an easy mode. You were starting to think this guy was one of those gamers who thought easy modes cheapened the experience. But if he designed the thing with a novice mode, maybe he can remind Jake how to trigger it? Golgotha Starer, well, I have to admit you've really put your achromatic digit right on the crux of the matter there, amigo. Golgotha Starer, Strider's a bang-up bro and I won't utter a word against him, but he doesn't really like to offer help. Golgotha Starer, I imagine he'll think it's my fault for forgetting in the first place. And he probably won't want to give me the answer because then I won't learn the lesson that I shouldn't be so forgetful. Ow. Okay. You are starting to form some tentative opinions about this Strider guy. Golgotha Starer, that said, but I think you've stumbled onto quite the slick solution to our woes. Golgotha Starer, there's no shame in a brave adventurer asking for help when he's well and truly fucked. Golgotha Starer, maybe we can find someone willing to offer us their casa as a temporary abode? Oh sure, You could do that. Maybe Jake could message Jane? Although, now that you think about it, given how Jane talked about Jake when you were there, it seems cruel to spring something like this on her with so little lead time to prepare herself. You don't want to fluster her too badly. You quickly backpedal, telling Jake that Jane seemed too busy when you were there last. Is there anyone else? Golgotha starer, well Roxas probably zizzled by now. Sizzled. Golgotha starer, you know. Pie-eyed. On a tude. Tying one on. Deep in the giggle water. 3 sheets to the cold nor'easter.
Yeah, I'm getting there myself. Delicious.
Oh, wait. She's drunk? Golgotha starer, Bingo was his nameo. So, this is a common thing? And she's Jake's age? You don't want to make any assumptions, but that sounds, well, concerning. And also, familiar. You remember what feels like a long time ago now, helping a girl symbolically trash her mother's liquor collection.
Could there be a connection?
Of course,
Maybe.
alcoholism isn't that rare. But still, you're starting to feel like there's something strange about all these convergent circumstances. Anyway, is Jake sure his friend is okay? Golgotha starer, oh no, it's nothing like that. Roxas just a fun and wacky gal, haha. Golgotha starer, sure she dabbles in the devil's drink, but she always seems to be having such a good time. I wouldn't want to make any unfair assumptions about it. Somehow this fails to make you feel better. Golgotha starer, I guess asking Strider for help is our only option. Ugh, I just know he is going to be a complete pain in the keister about it. Golgotha starer, you'll have to butter him up like a morning muffin. Are you any good at manners of persuasion? Yikes. You want to understand where this kid is coming from, but you're reaching your limits here. Is that really all the friendships Jake has? If so, that is bleak. There's clearly some kind of feelings-based train wreck on the horizon for him and Jane. His friend Roxy is obviously having a crisis that Jake pretends not to see. And his friendship with Strider has more red flags than the People's Republic of China. Is this what Jake is willing to put up with, just for companionship? He just pretends he doesn't see the huge issues in his friendships to keep the peace? Is this what it looks like when someone is so indiscriminately hungry for affection that they're willing to go along with anything to get it?
Staring at a mirror there.
You've had about enough. You tell Jake you can't stand this anymore. This life that he has. It's not good. Not even close. He lost his family and he's scared to leave his house. His only company in real life is a robot that's programmed to hurt him, and he thinks it was a gift. He seems unwilling to face the glaring flaws in his closest relationships. And all of this might be hard and sad, but it can't be helping Jake to be so deep in denial about it. He can't just cover this all up with cavalier optimism. There is no way that's the best way for him to live. You understand it must be scary when there seem to be structural flaws in every one of Jake's support pillars. But addressing them is the only way anything can get better. Because this hiding out in his room all alone and just pretending he has the support he needs is not sustainable. You don't say this part, but if he keeps going along with what other people want him to be, you're scared for what's going to happen to him as he grows up. That can't lead anywhere good. After your rant, Jake stares at you, aghast. You start to feel bad. Yes, he probably needed to hear those things, but you could have guided him more gently. You're usually an expert at encouraging people slowly toward emotional growth, but this kid really got under your skin. But then Jake's face crumples. Golgotha starer, you're absolutely right. Oh. Golgotha starer, I am lying to myself. Golgotha starer, I manicure the image of myself as some brave adventurer, but I don't go out to the ruins unless I have to. Golgotha starer, and I suppose on some level I have suspected that things with Jane and Roxy and Dirk weren't exactly Jake. Wait, what? Golgotha Starer, oh it's like a word that means good. Golgotha Starer, it's just plain English. Jake English haha. Golgotha Starer, anyway. Golgotha Starer, I guess I didn't realize how serious it was or how much I was really ignoring. Golgotha Starer, gee fucking willikers, it's not easy to hear that all this came across loud and clear to a complete stranger. Golgotha Starer, that really makes me Golgotha Starer, but I guess for a truly brave gentleman the only thing to do is try to do better from here on out. Golgotha Starer, it's scary but I do want to be the kind of person who is honest and forthright. A real hero. Golgotha Starer, if I'm not doing that then I need to figure out how to do that. Golgotha Starer, holy smokes you've really opened my eyes MX mystery friend. Golgotha Starer, you've really got a knack for spotting problems. Do you think you could stick around and help me do better? It's like asking the sun if it minds shining. Helping people confront their buried issues and come out of it changed for the better? Why, that's the very thing you've desperately latched onto to give your life some kind of purpose. But something about this feels off. Was your rant really all it took to turn things around for Jake? Did you really just fix him? It doesn't seem right. Definitely not good pacing, anyway. Jake is looking at you with big green puppy eyes. You have to make a choice. Save. Save. Agree to help. Of course you're going to help. Jake asked, didn't he? You think through your OL bag of friendship tricks. Encouraging him to talk to people about his feelings. It'd probably be good, but it's a little complex. He has 3 different relationships with these kids, all with their own set of problems. And you're not convinced that Jake is really up for confrontation yet. Your best bet is probably forging unlikely connections through your powers of teleportation and friend matchmaking. You think proudly of the time you introduced Daria to Theseus, someone who'd struggled with the questions Daria was facing, but found a more constructive solution. That's what you need, not someone similar to Jake, but a good foil. Someone who will be able to call Jake on his avoidance. You need the ultimate pull-no-puncher. An expert in tough love.
Ooh,
you need Briska Circuit.
I was kind of thinking that, but it all seems a little too on the nose.
You ask Jake if you might take the initiative to introduce him to another one of your friends. Someone who has the kind of take-no-bullshit approach that he needs to cultivate. Someone who can really help. Golgotha Starer, oh abso-fucking-lutely. Golgotha Starer, lead on Buckaroo. You clap your hand medially on his shoulder, and zap on over to Vriska. You expect her to be in her hive, but when your field of vision clears, you're at the beach again. You've appeared a diplomatic distance away, not right up in her face. Vriska is walking down the beach, hands in her pockets, occasionally aiming a disaffected kick at a piece of trash. You call out to her and wave her over. Her face splits into a grin at the sight of you. It gives you a warm glow, like you've befriended someone's mean cat who never gets along with visitors. Maybe more like someone's mean mountain lion. Trolling, Arachnid's grip, hey there. Hi Vriska. What is she doing on this beach? Trolling, Arachnid's grip, I came here looking for my stupid fish friends. Tarazi and I need an explosive device for a thing, and as much as I hate to admit it, Ampera isn't 8AD at making them. Trolling, Arachnid's grip, 8UT he's not even here. I can't even find him the one time I ever want to see him, ever. Trolling, Arachnid's grip, figures. My so-called friends leaving me to do all the work, again. It's this kind of self-starter energy that Jake could really learn from.
This is
Speaking
go
of,
terrible,
you start to introduce your friends to each other. But when you turn to Jake, he's frozen, his face caught in an expression of shock and wonder. Maybe you should have mentioned your friend was an alien? You keep forgetting to mention things like that. As you look at him, Jake rallies, snapping to such a ramrod posture you half expect him to salute. He opens his mouth to speak, then shuts it. You can talk to her, you prompt. It's okay. Golgotha starer, yes. Golgotha starer, righto. Golgotha starer, holy smokes, I'm ruffled as a baby's bonnet to meet you, Miss Vriska. Golgotha starer, I'm poised and trembling on the lip of your pit of knowledge, just ready to fall into the expectant abyss. I'm happy to learn whatever you can teach me. Golgotha starer, although I must say when my pal here intimated they had a friend who could help, I didn't expect you to be of such a blue and spidery persuasion. Trolling, Arachnid's grip, of course.
Oh, I completely forgot about that. In I believe Jade's house, like, how should I put this? Apparently he ends up with, like, getting a thing for, like, blue pictures of ladies or something. I think they go into it in the Hive Swap game a bit, where they've got some of his cerulean beauties or whatever. So I guess is related to that.
Trolling, Arachnid's grip. Why would anyone 8E anything else when they could 8E 8LUE and spidery?
Why would
8,888.
Why would anyone be anything else when they could be blue and spidery? There we go.
Golgotha starer, haha, you have a solid point there, my extraterrestrial associate. Golgotha starer, I hope you'll pardon my candor, but a real gentleman doesn't hide from the truth. You may be the coolest girl I've ever seen in my entire life. Golgotha starer, clears throat nervously, hoping he didn't overstep. Trolling, Arachnid's grip. Well, I can't say I'm surprised to hear it. Trolling, Arachnid's grip. Feel free to keep listing things that are awesome AAOU to me. Despite his professed admiration for Vriska, however, Jake isn't listening. Golgotha starer, hang on, wait, technically the only other girl I've seen was my grandma, but you know what I mean. It's kinda disrespectful to refer to one's own grandmother as a girl, so I didn't mean her. Golgotha starer, haha, gosh, I seem to be rambling. Well, I hope this is a radiant exemplar of the kind of being true to myself I hope to cultivate as a regular habit from here on out. Golgotha starer, I think it can be very brave to just keep being yourself even when things feel awkward. Don't you think so? Trolling, Arachnid's grip. Ha 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 ha, oh wow. Trolling, Arachnid's grip. There are so many things wrong with that, I don't even know where to start. Golgotha starer, oh doggone it, really? This is why I need your help, Miss Vriska. I didn't see anything wrong with any of that at all. Golgotha starer, here I am going around thinking what I'm saying to everyone is tickety-boo, and it turns out it's all been a load of catty-wampus fiddle-faddle. Trolling, Arachnid's grip. Oh man. This is the nicest present anyone's ever gotten me. She's addressing you now, ignoring Jake's question. A predatory shark smile spans her pointy face. Trolling, Arachnid's grip. You must have known things were getting 8AD with Tavros. In a different way than usual, I mean. Trolling, Arachnid's grip. He just kind of stopped responding in the same way he did 8EFORE. And not even AD cause of his fakey fraud confidence. He just says no good can come of talking to me.
You just gave Vriska a new victim for her meanities? For her nasty personality, I guess I would put it. That's a way to put it, sure.
Trolling, Arachnid's grip.
Yep.
So you wrought me a new nerdy loser. This rules. Well, that wasn't exactly what you expected, although now that you think about it, why didn't you expect this? Pretty much anyone could have seen this coming. Golgotha starer, hey. Except Jake, of course. Golgotha starer, I may have my little quirks and quibbles, but that doesn't mean I'm a loser. Golgotha starer, if you weren't a lady, I dare say such slanderous language would earn you a one-way ticket to Fisticuffs Island. Golgotha starer, which now that I think about it is more or less an appropriate moniker for my permanent residence. Golgotha starer, how do you like them Granny Smith apples? Trolling, Arachnid's grip. This is hilarious. Trolling, Arachnid's grip, I've never met anyone who makes me feel so good out myself. I'm so lucky to cool.
I've never met anyone who makes me feel so good about myself. I'm so lucky to be cool.
Golgotha Starer, excuse me but I haven't heard hide nor hair of an apology yet, Miss Rude Alien Girl. At least. Jake is standing up for himself? But you get the feeling that this enthusiastic bravado wouldn't hold up if the issue was an interpersonal one with his friends. Either way, Vriska is not backing down. She sizes Jake up, stepping forward to intimidate him. Trolling, Arachnid's grip, do you really want to fight? Because I get the feeling you're whatever your planet's equivalent of CULL88 is.
Your planet's equivalent of Cullbait. So that's kind of a weird one.
Golgotha Starer, I may not know what that means but I've never once backed down from a scrum and I'm not about to start now, chum. Whoa, no. You are not going to let two of your best friends, a category that includes all of your friends, throw down right in front of you. Especially not after Vriska compared Jake to Tavros. Doesn't she remember the consequences of fighting Tavros? Doesn't she want things to go differently here? Trolling, Arachnid's grip, W8.
Wait.
Trolling, Arachnid's grip, what's TH8T supposed to mean?
What's that supposed to mean?
Oh no. You didn't mean any offense. You know Vriska has been through a lot, and her past mistakes should be viewed with that context. But you know Vriska didn't mean to hurt Tavros as much as she did. Right? Vriska is no longer having fun. She's turned to you now, her mouth set into a line, fists clenching at her side. You remember how magical it seemed to have earned her friendship, and how easily Vriska can lash out when she thinks her friends have turned on her. Trolling, Arachnid's grip, you think you know what went down between me and Tavros.
Between me and Tavros?
Trolling, Arachnid's grip, Tavros was almost as pathetic as this guy. I was trying to help him get stronger. Trolling, Arachnid's grip, 8 every time I did, he just folded like a loser. He ate ARELY even tried to fight 8ACK. He was too scared and wimpy. Trolling, Arachnid's grip, and everyone always gets mad at me for pushing him, 8 that's what our planet is going to do to him. Trolling, Arachnid's grip, if he doesn't get stronger, he'll die. Trying to protect him from danger now is just letting that happen later. Trolling, Arachnid's grip, I would even say I'm the only one who's ever really cared about him. At least I tried to help him shape up. You almost forgot Jake is here. But at this, he makes an indignant noise, and you turn to see that his anger and distress has ratcheted up several notches. Golgotha Starer, well pardon me Spider Smothet, but it doesn't sound like you were much of a friend at all. Oh god. You nudge Jake, trying to let him know that Vriska can be a little scary and it might not be best to push her on this. But Jake isn't listening. Golgotha Starer, no matter how much you might think you're doing this fellow a favor, from what you've said he was really scared and sad. Golgotha Starer, and I'm sorry but that doesn't make someone stronger. It just makes em scared. Golgotha Starer, even if you think it's good for him or even if he said it was what he wanted. Golgotha Starer, like maybe when he was talking about having a fighting partner, what he really wanted was companionship due to being alone all the time. Golgotha Starer, and to be totally candid it's hard to believe you didn't know that. Golgotha Starer, which means it really is more about what you want than what's best for him, even though you keep saying it's what's best for him, which makes it really hard to argue. Golgotha Starer, anyway if you ask me you're a rotten friend and I don't think I want you to be one of mine after all. Before Vriska can respond and almost inevitably make things worse, you cut her off. Enough is enough. You tell her you're sorry for making assumptions. You know that she was doing the best she could with the raw deal she was given in this culture. You offer her a quick thank you for this hellish social interaction, and ask for some time alone with your incipient friend here. Vriska still looks annoyed, and there's a moment where you're scared she won't let it go. But she does, stepping back and rearranging her facial expression to apathy. You guess pushing it would mean admitting she cares about your opinion of her. Trolling, arachnid's grip, whatever. Trolling, arachnid's grip, talk to you later, nerds.
Talk to you later, nerds.
After she leaves, you put a comforting hand on Jake's shoulder. That got pretty raw, huh? It kind of seemed like in the end there, he wasn't talking about Vriska at all. Like there was someone else he wanted to say all that stuff to? Golgotha starer, huh? No, this has nothing to do with me, it was about some weird alien situation. You gently suggest that this might be one of those situations the two of you were talking about earlier, where Jake is suppressing the truth because it's inconvenient to acknowledge. Doesn't it bear some slight resemblance to a situation in his own friend group? Jake averts his gaze, clearly uncomfortable. Golgotha starer, no way, all my friends are best in show. Golgotha starer, and even if what you're implying was true. Golgotha starer, it's different when it's your friends. A man can't get by without his brothers, so sometimes he has to make allowances. Golgotha starer, certain, let's say, eccentricities are just what you have to put up with when best friends are involved. No, they're not. You're allowed to hold your friends accountable. This is weapons grade interpersonal truth you're spouting, but Jake doesn't look enlightened. Instead, he's growing red in the face with indignance. Golgotha starer, what would you know about it anyway? Golgotha starer, not to be rude, but it's a very personal situation between a fella and his buddies. Golgotha starer, I don't think I appreciate what you're implying.
Dun, dun, dun.
You don't want to get frustrated, but Jake did ask for your help. The two of you came here because you were going to face up to the hard truths about Jake's life. Doesn't Jake want to do that? Golgotha starer, well, of course I do. I'm ready to take a hard look in the ol rum peeper, and don't you doubt it. Golgotha starer, it's just that when it comes to my friends, I didn't think you were saying any of them were bad. I thought you were encouraging me to take things in a more forthright direction because, well, Golgotha starer. Golgotha starer, tugs at collar nervously. Golgotha starer, because of their feelings towards me. Golgotha starer, gosh, it sounds stupid when I say it like that. I hope you know I'm not some kind of pompous braggadocio making myself out to be some slick Casanova type. Golgotha starer, I'm probably just making it up. I'm the kind of guy who gets confused easily, especially with the number of concussions I've sustained over the years, hee hee. Golgotha starer, a real beef-witted bozo, that's me. Golgotha starer, but more than once I've gotten an inkling that some of my friends might be giving me the ol eagle eye. Firing up the courting maneuvers, if you get my. Golgotha starer, so when you said things weren't right between me and my friends, that's sort of where I thought the personal change train was a-heading. Golgotha starer, an impression only further bolstered when you proceeded to introduce me to your blue arachnid themed friend. I figured you remembered my sapphire sirens from my room. Golgotha starer, you know Neytiri and all that. Golgotha starer,
yep.
It was a sweet gesture, although just so you're aware, she's a little too young for me to take that kind of interest. Golgotha starer, I appreciate the thought, though just some constructive criticism for next time. Now you're tempted yourself to say aloud some kind of goofy RP action indicating your embarrassment. You don't though, because it sounds stupid when Jake does that. Geez, this is a mess. This kid has issues on issues, and when you think you've put your finger on one, it slides away to reveal three more. You're playing personal growth whack-a-mole over here. But you gamely draw yourself up and plunge onward, determined. Okay, you tell Jake, so if that's what he thought you were going to talk about, let's talk about it. How does it make him feel, thinking his friends are all attracted to him? What does he plan to do about it? Golgotha starer, oh, you know, I think all that malarkey will work itself out over time. Golgotha starer, I figure I'll wait until someone brings it up and then just go along with what they think we should do. Really? That's his strategy? It seems remarkably lackadaisical, and it gives you that sinking feeling again about what's in store for future Jake. Does he actually return any of those feelings? Golgotha Starer: sure I do. My friends are the cat's pajamas. I don't mind saying I really love them. Right, of course. But is there any one of them he feels differently about? What would he say if, for example, Jane asked him out? Golgotha Starer: I'd say yes, of course. How could I say no to a top shebel like Janie? She's smart as a whip with a mug to match. Alright, and what about Roxy? Golgotha Starer: a fellow would have to be daft as a doorknob to turn down Roxy. She's a genius tech hacker spy like in all my favorite movies. And Strider? Golgotha Starer: are you kidding? Strider's my best bro in the world and a mighty strapping gent if we're getting into it. I can't think of any reason to say no to a proposition like that from my best bud. The way Jake conceives of things is just far enough off from your own viewpoint, you can't help feeling like you're passing by each other without really connecting. For example, he doesn't have to have a reason to say no to a friend asking him out. It comes down to his feelings. Does he really have strong feelings for any of these people? Like, stronger feelings than he has for Neytiri? Golgotha Starer: whoa, hey, now that's not really fair. Neytiri is the perfect woman. No, you insist. It is fair. If someone has feelings for him, he should not be with them unless he has stronger feelings for that real flesh and blood person than he does for a poster of Neytiri. It's important. Golgotha Starer: well, Golgotha Starer: if you put it that way. Golgotha Starer: I don't know if I've ever had feelings like that. I don't even know if I'm capable of those kinds of feelings. If that's the case, then he needs to be prepared to tell his friends that. It's not like he has to have these conversations now, but someday, the feelings his friends have need to be addressed. And he needs to be ready to turn them down. He needs to make these decisions. He can't just wait for things to resolve on their own and deal with the consequences later. Golgotha Starer: Golgotha Starer: wow. He doesn't sound nearly as excited about personal growth as he did before. He just sounds dejected. Golgotha Starer: I must say you've given me a lot to think about. That's a good thing, you remind him. He's learning important things. Golgotha Starer: well. Golgotha Starer: sorry, but a lot of people tell me it's important for me to learn various things. Golgotha Starer: and for sure sometimes they're right. I've never assumed the image of a chap who knows everything. Golgotha Starer: but you've also been telling me I can stand up for myself sometimes. Make my own decisions about what's right instead of letting other people tell me how to live. Golgotha Starer: and I just don't think I agree with you on this. He sneaks a guilty look at you from under his sad bowed head. Golgotha Starer: what I mean is. Golgotha Starer: I like making my pals happy. Golgotha Starer: even if I'm not always sure about if I want the things they want. And I can't imagine the consequences could really be that bad. Golgotha Starer: I think that in matters of the heart I'm fine just going with the flow. Golgotha Starer: no offense, but the way you're advocating I go about it seems hard and sad. I don't want to hurt people. Golgotha Starer: I really think it's best if I just sit back and see how things work out. And if someone asks me to do something I might as well try it. Golgotha Starer: that's just the kind of adventure boy I am. You want to respect Jake's choices, but you can't help the exasperation rising up in you. Sure, he can decide how he wants to conduct his friendships. But the approach he's talking about is really unhealthy. If he wants to do right by his friends, he has to be honest with them and with himself. Otherwise it's not fair to anyone. Golgotha Starer: I see what you're saying, but if you want my 100% bona fide opinion, I don't think I can do that. Golgotha Starer: I guess we had different ideas about what we were getting into with this. He can do it, though. All he has to do is try. Jake is shaking his head. Golgotha Starer: I'm sorry, I know you were really trying to help. I'm sure you're an excellent compadre just like Spider-Girl said, but this isn't working for me. Golgotha Starrer, maybe you should just take me home now. I can figure out some way to deal with the brobot. He's still well below the average Jake level of energy. You can see that you really affected him. But you're far from confident that your intervention is going to make any difference in the long run. Despite his seeming earnestness, you guess Jake wasn't as ready for change as he thought he was. Wait a fucking second. Is this a bad end? A horrible powerlessness threatens to overwhelm you. All at once, it makes you furious. This isn't fair. Jake gave you a choice between two options. You chose to help him face his problems. You know that was the right choice. You didn't do anything wrong. You were kind and patient. You talked to him sincerely and pushed him in the right direction. You deserve a good end.
Screwed it up.
You deserve to save him. But you can tell Jake is emotionally closing up. You're willing to bet the conversation the two of you just had was among the most candid of his life, and he isn't ready for another. You want so badly to help him. You know exactly the changes he needs to make. But you can't make those changes for him. He needs to do it himself. And he's just not ready. Maybe he'll never be. You hate this. You hate Jake, and you hate yourself. Making people's lives better is the one thing that's given your piecemeal existence any meaning, and he's taking this away from you. His stupid inability to face his issues is ruining your life. You linger as long as you can, but eventually you have to do it. You gotta take the L.
Bam! Bad end. What made you think Vriska would be a good choice?
Image. Load. Do not. You are about to say yes. Every part of you is straining to say yes and fulfill your life's purpose. Your real life's purpose. Not like before, when you were being mind-controlled to pursue friendship on whatever shallow or unsatisfying level was possible. This desire to help, to make your mark in whatever small positive way you can wrangle, is something you've figured out for yourself. It matters. But when you're about to open your mouth, you stall. A deep existential hopelessness washes over you, a kind that you thought you were past by now. You know what? Fuck it. Yes, you care. But honestly, you are exhausted. It's so much work coaxing teens through personal revelations, with no reward except the temporary abatement of your deep soul level feeling of narrative irrelevance. You need a break. Why not give yourself a freebie? You tell Jake that you don't think he needs your help. It's enough for right now that he's realized there's a problem. There's no need to swallow down all your personal growth pills at once. Jake looks abjectly relieved. Golgotha Starrer, if I can shoot straight from the hip, that's exactly what I was hoping you'd say. Golgotha Starrer, I think I've done enough already too. Golgotha Starrer, this has been a great talk. I feel like we're really firing on all cylinders friendship-wise. If you were a past version of yourself, that would make you really happy. Instead, a sick feeling of guilt is poisoning your guts. You were about to touch on something real there, and you know it was wrong to pull back from it. You're not doing Jake any favors. Still, you give him a weak smile and offer him the best friend-making tool you know. Are there any faraway friends he's interested in connecting with? Golgotha Starrer, boy howdy, what a proposition. Golgotha Starrer, why I feel like one of those movie characters who's offered near unlimited powers out of nowhere. Like Bruce Almighty. Ready to lasso the moon and damn the consequences on those pesky tides. Golgotha Starrer, there is someone I've had a hankering to meet with for a little tete-a-tete. Remember when I regaled you with the tale of my grandma? Oof. You're not sure you're gonna be able to reunite this kid with his dead grandma. That seems like one of those things you won't be allowed to do, despite the supposed limitlessness of your powers. You'd probably be blocked by that weird force, the
Jade.
one that seems to have a power that supersedes zapping anywhere in any time, place, or dimension. You don't like to think about that force too hard. Golgotha Starer, no my stalwart chum. I've been corresponding in an epistolary fashion with a version of my grandma when she was a young girl. My pen pal buddy Jade.
Wait, I don't think he was actually contacting Jade. Like, where is this coming from?
Golgotha Starer, I understand if it's asking too much, but I'd love to meet her. Golgotha Starer, she always said we'd meet someday in some roundabout confusing who's what's it fashion, and I was pleased as a passel of possums to hear it. Golgotha Starer, but recently she stopped replying. Right in the final run up to the vaunted finish line. Golgotha Starer, I've been all a Twitter with worry, I don't mind telling you. Golgotha Starer, do you think we could take a hop, skip and a jump over to her lodgings? What a relief. You actually know Jade. You can take him to Jade right now. Jake smiles a big goofy grin at you. You should feel happy, you tell yourself sternly. This is a good thing to do. He said himself that you're fixing a concern of his. But the yawning malaise inside you only grows. You like to think of yourself as an agent of positive change, but here you are again, nothing but a glorified interdimensional taxi service.
And everything's gonna go wrong in some way.
Whatever. Who cares? At least he'll be with someone he loves. You grab Jake's hand and take him to his family. You expect the normal non-event of your zappy powers. But instead there's a sick wrenching feeling, a kind of squeezing like you're not the right shape for wherever you're going. It steals your breath, and then it's gone. Nervously, you open your eyes. What?
This is from the Hive Swap game, I think. If I'm remembering correctly, that way leads up to the attic. This is over here is, oh, what are the two characters in Hive Swap? The two human characters. There's so-and-so's room. Yeah, it's so-and-so's room.
Fuck. Does this have to do with how your powers are changing? Sure, you were distracted and gloomy when you zapped, but you have no idea what just happened. You're not at Jade's house. Wherever you are, it feels deeply wrong. The wrongness jangles through your bones and teeth like the vibrations of a jackhammer. You're not supposed to be here. You have got to get out of here. You grab Jake with a grimace and zap more carefully. Ah, there we go. You breathe a sigh of relief, which is sadly cut short as you turn and see Jade shoving the muzzle of a rifle in your face once again. You back up, hands raised. Jade, no. It's just you, her friend. You've already been through all these wacky misunderstanding shenanigans with firearms. Garden Gnostic, I know who it is. Garden Gnostic, I just think you shouldn't be here. What? Garden Gnostic, don't get me wrong, I appreciate everything you've done for me. You have no idea what it meant to be able to meet my friends in person.
Uh-oh.
Garden Gnostic, but the last time you came here, things got dangerous. And I started to wonder if you have any idea what the consequences are of what you're doing. Okay, there's obviously something she needs to get off her chest. And you want to hear it? But can she put the gun down? You both know she's not actually going to shoot you.
And next panel she shoots you.
Garden Gnostic, oh, right. Garden Gnostic, I guess the gun was a little over the top. But you startled me and I got really mad. Garden Gnostic, ever since you left last time I've been thinking about what you did with me and Dave. Garden Gnostic, even though Beck didn't stop you, I don't think he wanted me to be traveling around like that. Garden Gnostic, I know you're a nice person and you don't mean to do anything bad. But I think it's impossible to have powers like yours without being a little corrupted by them. Garden Gnostic, when you mess around in our lives, that can have serious consequences. But you always leave afterward and you don't live out those consequences with us. Garden Gnostic, it was great to meet my friends, but you know what? I would have met them anyway in the game. Garden Gnostic, I can't help thinking it would have been better for things to play out like they were supposed to. Garden Gnostic, so I'm sorry but I just don't want you interfering in my life anymore. I think it's for the good of everyone if you leave us alone from now on. It hurts to hear, but how could you argue with that? You tell Jade that you don't want to do anything that makes her uncomfortable. There's just like, one little thing that you maybe already did. You gesture to Jake. He's huddled behind you, clearly having second thoughts about this. Maybe it's the gun, but then again Jake is pretty comfortable around guns. Probably it's just fear of the mortifying ordeal of being known. Garden Gnostic, who the fuck are you? Golgotha Starer, ER. You watch as he clears his throat and fidgets, his hands twitching at his sides like he's thinking about hanging onto his own guns for comfort. Golgotha Starer, I'm Golgotha Starer, your grandson? Garden Gnostic, Jake. Golgotha Starer, that's me. Jade bursts into tears. She flings herself forward and throws her arms around Jake. Garden Gnostic, okay, I know I just said I didn't want any interference, but this isn't fair. Garden Gnostic, I can't believe you're here. When they pull apart, Jake's eyes are watery as well. He's taller than Jade, being a few years older, but from the shy way he looks at her you can tell he still sees her as the authority figure here. You can suddenly see how much Jake must have admired his grandmother. Fine. You're still in a mood, but this is heartwarming as hell. You intentionally tune out the conversation a little as Jade and Jake gush at each other. It just seems really private. They're family, after all. You don't have any place in this conversation, which only adds to your frustrated feeling of being help blocked. It's great that this is making Jade and Jake so happy, but it really has nothing to do with you at all. Garden Gnostic, I guess I can't really give you the tour since you grew up in the same place as me. Garden Gnostic, but maybe we can take advantage of this opportunity. Garden Gnostic, we both grew up alone, right? Isn't there anything you always wanted to do, but you couldn't do it with only one person? Golgotha Starer, holy hell Jade, that's a rip snortator of an idea. You've got a splendiferous mind up in that noggin of yours. Garden Gnostic, aw. Hee hee. Garden Gnostic, it's weirding me out how much you sound like my grandpa, it's making me miss him too. But I'm really happy I get to spend time with you.
What could that mean?
Golgotha Starer, me too. Golgotha Starer, as to your question, there's one thing that comes forefront in the OL think tank. Golgotha Starer, you know how it is being a kid alone in your room on a godforsaken island in the middle of bumfuck nowhere. You start to entertain all kinds of fancies. Garden Gnostic, of course. Golgotha Starer, well, there's this cosplay I've been trying to make work for years. I'm not very good at cosplay and I haven't had anyone to help me bring my vision to life. Golgotha Starer, is that the kind of activity you'd be suited for? Garden Gnostic, OMG, I would love that. Garden Gnostic, what's the character? Golgotha Starer, only the best bravest archaeologist / adventurer of all time. Lara Croft. Garden Gnostic, oh wow. Garden Gnostic, so, you want to be a sexy Tomb Raider? Garden Gnostic, I think he'll have to stop picturing you as my grandpa. Garden Gnostic, but I would love to help with that. Golgotha Starer, to be frank Jade, I don't really think of MS Croft as sexy. Golgotha Starer, oh I know some unmannerly rogues like to comment on the size of her bazoombas, but from where I'm sitting she is a consummate professional. Golgotha Starer, I just admire her moxie.
Let's talk about old school Laura, not the new rehashed, whatever, Bo Laura.
Garden Gnostic, oh oops, sorry. I was just making an assumption based on her outfit, I guess. That was really rude of me. Golgotha Starer, to tell you the truth I have never seen anything sexy about shorts. Golgotha Starer, I aspire to the freedom Lara's thighs get to experience every day. I think it's a beautiful dream. Golgotha Starer, A man can wear short shorts without wanting everyone to get all randied up about it, you know what I mean? Garden Gnostic, of course he can. Golgotha Starer, but what about you, my juvenile grandma friend? Golgotha Starer, this can't just be a cosplay party for yours truly alone. Isn't there anyone you've been wanting to inhabit the garments of? Garden Gnostic, not really, but it would be fun to make a costume for me too.
Probably a fursuit or something, I'm guessing.
Garden Gnostic, I could be Mr. Coxcomb. He's one of my favorite manthro chaps. Jade turns to you, her demeanor towards you considerably softened. Garden Gnostic, hey, I'm sorry I was so mad earlier. Garden Gnostic, honestly, I was scared of what you were doing. It really shook me up to find myself on an alien planet. It felt like we shouldn't be doing it. Garden Gnostic, but I shouldn't have taken it out on you. I know your powers aren't your fault. Garden Gnostic, do you want to join us? We could make a costume for you too. Golgotha Starer, oh yes please do. Jade, this specimen right here has been nothing but a absolutely fantabulous friend to me all along. Have you? Have you? All you did was tow him along on a little inter-timeline jaunt. You don't feel like you've done Jake much good. Are you even really friends with Jake, or are you just piggybacking off of facilitating his friendship with Jade? It's fine, you guess. Things are going fine. Even well. But it feels unsatisfying. No real nutritional value. You don't feel good about what you've done. But you guess you might as well get a cool costume out of it. You tell Jake and Jade you know exactly who you want to dress like. The three of you set to work together.
It's Marvis, I believe, from from Friendsome. Yeah, that's right, Friendsome. I'm guessing. Yep, that's it. So hey, good end, awesome.
Image code self-voicing disabled. Self-voicing disabled.
Are on this one. Mild violence, alcoholism mentioned, and bullying. Okay. Alright, whatever. So yeah, that is Pesterquest Volume 12. I believe Volume 13 will be up in another 2 weeks. Got this one done on time, so that's pretty good. So yeah, we will see what that one is. I wonder if it's going to be Roxy or Dirk. It seems like they're being pretty mysterious about Dirk, so I'm thinking they might save him for last, so I'm going to guess that it's going to be Roxy next. I think they actually have them all posted, but whatever, I don't want to check. I want to be surprised. So yeah, so here's for Roxy next time, who I'm guessing it's going to be, and we'll get to that next time. So anyway, till next time, later.